Hello, hello, here we go. It's the Cop-Eye Podcast.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the earliest Cop-Eye Podcast stream. It's a new record. It's now 10 to 9 in the UK. It's obviously 10 to 10 in Sweden, so Kristian's a bit more awake than I am, but
I've been up. I did my 10K walk. I've been up since like 6:10 this morning. So I've been out doing a long walk and, came home, had coffee. All good.
I'll rub it into everyone who's hungover and lying in bed, going, oh my God, what's my life?
Yeah, I know.
But no, at least you're keeping fit, lad. At least you're keeping healthy. It's all good stuff. But we haven't done obviously a City preview. We were going to do it. We tried to do it yesterday, but obviously it didn't happen. And so we thought we'd just do it now, even though it's like the earliest show ever, and we don't expect anyone to be in the comments for this one on the because obviously we're doing this live. But we appreciate it anyway if you're listening or watching. But we just thought we'd get straight into it. And Kristian, what are your thoughts on tomorrow? Because I've got one screenshot or stats. I love me stats. It's the league table, so it's not the best screenshot I've ever took. Because when I was looking at it, I was like, where to Liverpool? Kept having to scroll down more and more in the league. But I just thought I'd put it up anyway, because it gives us obviously our last 6 results as well. So we're obviously, unfortunately, 10th, and we've got 2 losses, 2 wins, and 2 draws in our last 6, which I think says it all about our form at the moment, like 2-2-2. And obviously you've got Man City just a point off Arsenal, and they've won 5 and drawn 1 in the last 6. And yeah, what are your general thoughts? Look, just going into this one before we get into like team news and stuff like that.
Well, it is the big one though, like it's been the last couple of seasons or for a long time, against City, because that they are the team that we've been competing with for the title. Like we lost the title twice to them with 1 point. They are a great football club, obviously, with great players. Nowadays, whatever you want to say about how they became successful, that's another conversation. I'm one of them, always raising a voice about how they actually, got the money and all that. I don't like that kind of stuff, but modern football is what it is. I'm just very proud of what Liverpool and Klopp have done the last like 3-4 seasons, where they've actually been able to compete with a totally different budget, totally different, way of a club being run. Our owners doing it differently. Some people agree with it, some people disagree. But I'm proud of what I've done, and I'm thinking, going into this game with City, considering where we are in the table, it's a very must win for us to connect with the top 4 Champions League spots, because will be very tough to actually. I'm a little bit scared if we keep losing points, even these kind of games, because before it's been like that, we can actually, draw or lose against the big ones because we kept on winning all the rest games. But at this time now, we just need 3 points. It's going to be really tough, but I'm just a little bit concerned that we're losing connection with the top that, competes for this. The 4 spots for Champions League, because if we don't have Champions League next season, it will be so much tougher to attract certain players that are rumored about. We talk about Bellingham's or whatever. We need Champions League football, and I'm just thinking this kind of game at Anfield is the game to actually show that we are still there. We are still in the top, even though we're not in the top of the table. We're still a top team to that people can count on. So I'm just thinking, it's a very, very important game. All games are, but this just feels like we just need to win because we can lose so much ground.
Yeah, and I think what you said there about, obviously, if you haven't seen like the Klopp comments on like Man City and Newcastle, like having no ceiling and no one can compete with them, I think it all feeds into our owners, and like you said, doing it like the right way, like using the money that you gain from other transfers to pump back into the club and stuff like that. Obviously, FSG have done a lot of questionable things, but the way that they've run the club in terms of finances, they've never wanted us to have spend too much money, which you can understand because it needs to, and business needs to be sustainable. But I think it does feed into the fact, like you've just been saying there, like top four. Obviously, we've got a game in hand, but currently we're 6 points off Chelsea, who are in fourth spot, and they've got a game in hand as well. So we're 2 wins behind them. And obviously, we're only 8 games in. There's 30 left to play. There's a long way to go, and people on Twitter and stuff seem to forget that it's a marathon, not a sprint. This Premier League, it's not something that's over after 10 games because you've had a bad start. You can make up the ground. Obviously, we're banking on City to drop quite a few points and stuff coming towards the end of the season, but it's something that if Liverpool get on a run, and we know they can do that, and we've seen that in the past. But I think that we need the top 4 thing is something that if this carries on the run of form, like I said, the 2 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses, like very indifferent form in our last 6 games anyway, then that might kind of feed into the owner's mindset of like we might need to start pumping some more money in, because if we're not going to get the top 4, we're not going to be able to recruit. Well, it's going to be hard to recruit the Bellinghams and the whoever else that wants to come to the club, because Bellingham's not going to be, or I'll leave Dortmund, who are playing Champions League every year for Liverpool, because they might get into the Champions League the year after. So it's something that I think it all interlinks, doesn't it? I think anyway.
Yeah, it does. And I'm not the one saying the owners need to just spend, because I don't like that. And I know there's a big discussions on Twitter and in other forums talking about how the club is run. But like you said, they've done mistakes in the past, but I just like the way Liverpool are safe and secure in terms of being run as a business. And I read a thread, I can't remember who wrote it now, but it's obviously a journalist. I think it's from Liverpool. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, he just said, people are shouting FSG out and all that, but who do you want in? Like this, who do you want in if you don't want to be, Man City or Newcastle nowadays? Who do you want in? Who has the money to, at the time being, we are a healthy club in terms of economy and all that. And even if people say FSG won't spend, we don't have any money. We do have money. We just can't spend money on whatever and in whatever time. Just like, okay, we go and buy this player now, or we buy this, or we can give you those wages. Like when you read about Haaland having almost like £900,000 and all his bonuses are triggered, we know when he scores hat tricks and how many games he played or whatever. It's just ridiculous, and we know the modern football is very weird in that sense, but it's just getting more crazy and crazy. The more the time goes by. But like I said, we need to just focus on ourselves. We are still, a team with top quality players. You can't say anything else. It's just that we had a bad run of form. Like if you look at our squad, it's not long ago that we actually, won against Man City in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. We were really great against them. We won against them in the Community Shield, or Charity Shield. I can't remember. I always
it's Community Shield now, but I always call it Charity Shield.
Yeah, Community Shield. And we showed that we actually we can play them. We are good. We have quality players in every position. We've just been individual players have been out of form. We've been out of form in a collective way as well. It's just unlucky. At the time. We just need to find a way back. And I think against Rangers, with the goals, the way we played the second half, and we already talked about it, was something that we saw that if we just click and get the rhythm going, like we've been talking about, that this we have the players for it. So if City comes to Anfield and we just get out of the starting block straight away with aggressivity and intensity and all that kind of stuff and play our game, I think they will find it tough. It's not like they will always come there to try to play their game, obviously, but they know it's Liverpool. It's not a team at usually at the bottom of the table or whatever, or with all the respect to the other teams, but it's Liverpool away. You can never go to Anfield and actually think you should win, even if that's been the case now lately that we haven't been that good. It's not like they're going to go and think it's going to be easy. And if we can actually put in a performance and show them and actually proper fight, then it will be really, really difficult for them. And I just hope that we can actually go and give them a game, and if we do that, then we can actually come out with 3 points as well.
I think we'll raise it. I think it'd be very surprising if we don't raise our game, especially at home. I'd be well more worried at their place, but at home, against a team that we may need to. I mean, we said the similar thing against Arsenal. To be honest, it would have been good to make a statement and beat them because they were the form team, and I think we didn't play great, but I feel like refereeing decisions and whatever else around that game, we might have on another day we might have been able to do that. So, but we've got a few comments actually for the earliest preview ever. Hash is in. I hope we get a draw. You'll never walk alone. Yeah, well, we'll get on to score predictions soon because I'm not sure what to think at the minute. Doug says, "Morning lads, I just woke up, and is this the earliest preview ever?" It is. Definitely is. 10 to 9 in the morning. There's no way.
For you over in UK it is, but yeah, it's soon like midday here.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've definitely never done one before 9 o'clock, and before 9 o'clock start is crazy, absolutely crazy. And then he's also asked, "How was Gothenburg?" Just about your life.
Yeah, good. You know, I'm born and raised just an hour away from Gothenburg, so I feel like I'm at home when I'm on the west coast of Sweden, and it's a nice city for whoever wanna go and visit Sweden. Gothenburg is nice and it's quite easy to fly in. So yeah, that's a tip from me. Just go to Gothenburg and have the time of your life.
I will be going there very soon, and you'll be coming to get me. And take me everywhere. Little taxi.
Yeah, Kristian's private taxi.
Oh yeah, definitely. Paul's in. Nice one, Paul. Morning lads, this is early. I'm getting ready for a party tonight, and I feel like I need a beer now.
Ooh, just do it, Paul. Just go with it. I would. If there's a party going, I would probably crack up beer straight away, or a coffee with whiskey or whatever.
1 minute past 9. That might be. I mean, I've got a tea for now. I've got a party tonight as well, so my throat doesn't feel the greatest, so I might have to just have just have a chill one until later, and then get on it properly.
Just get a whiskey straight away.
Whiskey, oh yeah, a little old fashioned or something. I've actually got into them recently, old fashions.
Yeah,
I've never really been a fan, and then I had one. I think I sent you a picture when I had one a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, "This is surprisingly really nice." And then I had one the week after. I was like, "Fucking hell, I'm on the old fashioned train, fully on board." But footy. Community Shield, like you said, we beat them, which was obviously Nunes came off the bench, done really well, got a goal. That was a great moment. And then, like you said, the game before that was the FA Cup, where I've seen people just posting the clip when we were obviously battering them, and they were like on Twitter saying, take me back to this moment, because obviously Liverpool aren't doing that well at the moment, which I understand, but that was a great day as well. And in the Premier League last year, 2-2 draws, which I think that says just how close we are to them in terms of quality and stuff like that. Obviously, in the game at Anfield, maybe we should have nicked that one, I think. But I think 2-2 is maybe. I think it's just a sign that we're really evenly matched. And I think comes back to what we were saying before about finances and stuff. The fact that Jurgen Klopp's got us to a point where we can compete with someone who can buy anyone they want, and it's not an issue. I think Klopp, he just says it how it is, and when he does do that, people seem to take issue with it, and I don't understand it, because everyone thinks the same. City and whatever can buy whoever they want. Liverpool can't, because we've got owners who don't want to do that. So we have to compete in a different way. So I don't get the hate Klopp gets for saying, just talking truth, really, which is it's a bit annoying. But yeah, let's get on to tomorrow, and what are you thinking in terms of team news? I think obviously Matip's out, Trent's out, Diaz is out, Kanate wasn't seen in training, which people saying, is that a sign that he's going to be out? Because I think people are linking it to he wasn't in training, and in Klopp's press conference he said, he got asked about injuries, and he said something like, we'll have to see. We haven't made any final decisions yet, but he didn't mention anyone in particular. But I think people are taking the fact that he was being quite coy about that question, and the fact that Kanate weren't in training as Kanate's not going to be fit. But Thiago missed training before the Arsenal game and then played. So yeah, let's do a team with Kanate and a team without, I think, is the easiest way.
Yeah, it's time for Big Nat Phillips.
Big Nat.
Yeah, well, if Kanate is fit, obviously he's in my team with Matip out, and if Trent is out, then Gomez goes out to the right. It's quite clear. and obvious. So that will be obviously Alisson, Gomez to the right with Konate and Van Dijk in the middle, and then I'll probably go Robertson if he's fit now to play actually, because he came on, because he looked really well when he came on against Rangers. So I think Tsimikas actually need a break now because he hasn't been that well. So I would start with Robertson with his experience of playing in these kind of games as well, and want to show that he's going to have the spot, after that game as well. So he's got a lot of things that is good for him to actually play. So that's my defensive line. Do you agree, or you have any?
No. I think that's what I was going to say to you. Like, the only question really, I think, is obviously if Konate's not in, then you have to think about that a bit more in detail. But I think he'll be okay, and I think it's Robertson or Tsimikas, isn't it? It's nice to have Robertson back, obviously, and like you said, he looked really good. Tsimikas has done well, and then I've seen people saying he was getting ripped by the Rangers right winger, but I just feel like anyone would have got ripped by him. He was just so fast and just like so direct. I think anyone in the world just gets beat by that pace unless you just take them down or you, I don't know, just get them in a headlock or something. So I think I agree with that defense. It's just whether we go back to the 4-3-3 or we stick. I think we stick with like the 4-2-3-1, 4-4-2, whatever it is. I think I'd be surprised if we move back to a three in midfield again. Would you?
Yeah, I think now when it's been working, and we've seen us a little bit better with that formation, I think the Klopp sticks with it just to be hopefully a little bit more safe defensively, like we talked about as well. Just to, I know we conceded the first against Rangers and all that, which is shit. But in terms of just covering up a bit space in that part of the pitch, I think that's something that he's not going to change straight away, because that could be really dangerous against the Man City team with a lot of pace and skillful players that can play one-touch football straight through us if we do that. So I think we stay with the formation that we've been playing now. So yeah, if Konate's out, I'm not sure, but if Fabinho would have had a great form, I would put him as centre back next to Van Dijk, and play Hendo in the 6th row. But at the moment, with Fabinho not being that good, it's a big question if Konate is out, because you could always say, okay, Nat Phillips is actually a centre back, and when he's been playing, he's been quite, playing quite good. But to come up against Haaland, or it's a different game. So it's a very tough one if Konate is out.
I think the only one I've seen as well on Twitter, just when I was scrolling through yesterday, was put Gomez in alongside Van Dijk and then put like Tsimikas like right back or Robertson right back or something like that. But then that's like, I feel like you're moving too many players like in different positions. I think like that one.
Yeah, obviously that's an option as well, because Gomez obviously with his pace and playing centre back, that's his best position anyway. But like you said, them right back without Trent or without Ramsey, you could argue that someone like Henderson could play on a right back, because obviously he got the lungs and he got the work rate for it though, and just do the job simple if you like. There's options to do that, but hopefully we don't have to swap around players on the pitch to actually play. Hopefully Gomez on the right side so Konate can play in the centre. But if not, then Klopp has to deal with it, I guess, and see how he can do it the best way. But yeah, if we just thinking of Konate's in the team, that's my defensive line. And in the midfield, obviously, I think Hendo had a bad game against Rangers, and I think in this kind of game against City, obviously, he wants to prove himself as the captain. But I would actually go with Fabinho and Thiago if we had a 4-2-3-1 formation, to be honest, because I think he didn't do well. I love Hendo, and I always defend him when he gets all the abuse and all that, because of everything he's done for the club and what he's done on the pitch and off the pitch and all that. But obviously you have to also see things as they are, and he hasn't been good, so maybe he should be dropped even though he's the captain. So I would probably maybe go with Fabinho and Thiago, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think, like you said, I think he done well in the Rangers home game, and then he wasn't as good in the away leg, unfortunately. But I just thought we'd look at a few comments of Doug's put his prediction in as well. So he's gone for Alisson, Gomez, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho and Thiago, Jota, Firmino, Salah, Nunes. Only problem that there isn't a lot coming off the bench. Yeah, that's the only thing. When you go with all four, obviously in the Rangers game we had Salah and Thiago and Jota on the bench, so you can call on people to change the game. But I feel like that sounds like a good team to me. I feel like that's something. I don't think we're going to go back to 4-3-3 now. I mean, we might do at some point, but I just feel like we've been putting a lot of effort in. We've played a lot of games with the 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2 or whatever it is to kind of go back now. And I feel like Nunes obviously got his first Champions League goal. Salah got the fastest Champions League hat-trick in history. Jota got 3 assists. Bobby's now got 12 goal contributions in 12 games. So they're all doing well, and I think they'll cause City a lot of problems, especially like they're missing John Stones. I think they're missing Kyle Walker. So they're not at full strength either. So we can cause them some problems if we go really offensive, I think.
Yeah, and the ones that Doug presented there is my offensive four, if you want to call it that. With if I said Fabinho and Thiago in midfield, then I would have Jota, Firmino, Salah, and Nunez as well, because like you said, the options now with Diaz out, and with obviously Jota making 3 assists for Salah, that shows that he's involved in the game. Hopefully he can start to score as well, because we kind of used, that he's actually popping up every now and then to score. But to actually have 3 assists coming on from the bench shows that he can be involved straight away. He's got the qualities. Salah, obviously, self-confidence with the goals. Nunez the same. He's getting more and more probably, used to how we play, his role and all that. Sometimes his touch is not as good. Sometimes his touch is great. So he still learns his trade with us. But the thing is, though, like even if it hasn't been great in the way we play, he still score goals, and that's what you need from a strike. And if he score goals, then the self-confidence and all the other things will click. In the
Arsenal game as well. I think he did well, Nunes. I think the runs he made.
So, in a short term, maybe, he needs a little bit more time, but in the long term, everything will go well. As long as he score, that's all you want from a striker, though, goals. And he knows that himself. Like, maybe I didn't do great in terms of overall game on the pitch, but, I've scored, and that's what, I'm here for. So if he does that, that will help him for the self-confidence to click with the team as well. And he still, learns how everyone plays and his own role as well. So I would play him, and I think Firmino and that little hole behind him is brilliant, because we could see that against Rangers as well. And obviously it will be different players with different qualities and levels than Rangers. But with Firmino, with his nice touches, his clever play and all that, I think it's a great 4 offensive players in that kind of style that we might play. So that's my team as well. And like you said, if we go at them straight away because they have a few injuries, in the defensive line, why not just give them a proper challenge with a really good quality players that we have going forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think missing Stones and Walker is definitely good news for us, because obviously the Walker pace does bail them out of situations quite often. So, but JJ is in the chat. Nice one, JJ. Morning all. I can't help but thinking Klopp will be playing mind games with the players missing training. Hopefully, anyway, it's the mess with checkbook Pep. Yeah, I mean that would be boss if he did start doing that. Just don't feel like Klopp is that type of guy though. I wish he was a little bit more. I wish he was a bit of a shithouse and done stuff like that, like Mourinho back in the day, just going, oh, this player's injured, and then he play the day after. And Ferguson did it for years, didn't he, as well?
Yeah.
But Doug says, I don't want to go back to 2021. We have Fabinho and Henderson at centre back. That was bad. Yeah, we don't. No one wants to go back to that season at all. And then JJ says, I agree with Doug, but I would have Tsimikas over Robbo. Yeah, and then Ben Priest is in the comments. Nice one, Ben. Robbo looked bang up for it when he came on. If he's ready, he starts for me. I think he starts. I think Finn's one of them. Like Tsimikas is a great deputy, and I think he's done really well in most of the games he's played. But Robertson's he's been one of our best players for a long, long time now. Obviously, he's had a bit of a dip in form, but I think that's coincided with everyone having a dip in form. Van Dijk, Trent, Henderson, Salah, that you can go through all the players that you'd expect. Like we said a couple of weeks ago, you expect 7 and 8 out of 10 every week. They've been given 5s and 6s some weeks, which you don't expect. I think all at the same time as well, which is not what you expect. But I think Robbo having an injury, hopefully maybe give him a little bit of a rest as well. I don't know how that works in terms of having an injury and feeling fresh after it, but he's not been playing loads of games and stuff, so his body will be ready to come back in and maybe start to fight for his position, because he knows Tsimikas he'll know himself. Tsimikas is a good player, and he needs to be better than him.
Yeah, and I think like you said, now he's been out for a while. He will be eager to show that he's the one who's going to play, and obviously to be back to help the team. That's something, when you haven't played for a while and you just want to come back, and you see that the team doesn't really perform very well. You want to just get involved and help them, and I think that could help us. When Robo's back, to actually let me play. I want to show that I should play, and I want to do everything I can to be involved and help the team. So that's really good. And Tsimikas, he had 2 games now where he hasn't been that great. He's still doing it good, but I think he could do with a little bit of a rest as well, because I think with Robo coming back, that could be helpful for us, just to have him really, really eager to just show that he's up for it.
Yeah, I think the more, like we said, the more players we have, like just looking on the list now of like our like injuries and suspensions. Obviously, Oxlade-Chamberlain still injured, but I think he's back in like training, isn't he? I don't know if he's back in full training, but he's running. I don't know if he's running with the ball, but he's been doing running stuff, training. Curtis Jones has been doing training as well. He put like a clip on Twitter yesterday, so I don't know if he'll be involved. Tomorrow it might be a bit too soon, but it'll be nice to have him back. It's just like having players back that you just having options is just what we need, especially when we haven't got like maybe the same strength and depth. And obviously we have to sign Arthur Melo, and then he gets injured as well. It's just little things like that where you need as many players as you can. And Ben says, just praying Fabinho has a good game. Long overdue, was pretty poor against Rangers, even though we dominated in the end. Yeah, I think the Fabinho thing's another thing. Like I said before, with all the players being out of form, he's just another one that you're just like, what's going on? Like he's usually so just looks knackered, doesn't he? Sometimes, or just like I think he
looks really slow. Like he's not in right positions. He looks slow, and he doesn't. That he's such a vital player in a vital position for us. Holding midfielder. Covering the defensive line, picking up their attacks. He's always been the one just stretching out a leg, winning the ball, and we can counter attack. He's just been everywhere. He's just like, yeah, he's brilliant. He's just interrupt their offensive play all the time, and now we got the ball. But lately he's just been on the wrong side. He's been out of position. He hasn't been able to tackle properly. He's, giving away free kicks. It's just he's been all over the place.
I think I said to you, like, I think he's good when he's got legs around him. I think when we were at our like best and smashing teams, he was in the middle. Obviously, a fully fit, fully energized, fully informed Fabinho alongside like Van Alden and Henderson, who was obviously a few years younger and had more energy in the legs and a few less injuries to contend with. He was really good, and I think you look at that goal we scored against them, where it was like one of the best like passing movements, and we dragging them either side of the pitch. I think it was ended up being a Firmino goal, but we would like drag them everywhere, and like all the team were involved in that goal, and that was kind of synonymous of Liverpool, like just stretching teams over to the left, over to the right, and Fabinho and the midfield were just a key part, and that's what we want to see. That coming back shortly, hopefully, because that's what Liverpool needs to be at our best. I think our midfield needs to be really good for Liverpool to do well, and I think maybe the change in formation and players coming back might help that as well. But Ben says, can't see anything but a City win, unfortunately. Hopefully respectful scoreline of 2-1 to Man City. Doug says, after a sad week of losing 2 actors in my childhood growing up, and Alan Gillett Lansbury and Robbie Coltrane, something has to be happy. I'm going 3-2 Liverpool. Very optimistic. You never walk alone. Yeah, R.I.P. Robbie Coltrane. Hagrid, yeah. What a guy. What a guy, man. What a legend.
Yeah, remember him from the Golden Eye movies as well.
Yeah.
Made 2 or 3 Bond movies, I guess, with Pierce Brosnan. I remember because I was only like 10, 11 or something when Golden Eye came out, and I just loved his role in the movie as well. So, yeah, rest in peace. Sad news. Really sad news.
I think he's like 72, I think. Yeah. Absolute legend. And then we've got another comment from Ben saying, Fabinho playing poor means our centre-backs are sitting narrower and can't spread wider to help Trent and Tsimikas cover, is what I've noticed. Yeah, I think it's one of those. It's the players knowing that, it's everyone knowing that they're not completely informed, so they're not doing natural things. So they're not like, Van Dijk isn't going, well, Fabinho's going to win that ball. So I can stay where I am, or I don't have to go in a bit closer. But what he might be thinking instead is Fabinho might not win that ball, so I need to go in, and then the spaces are just it's just all those slight little spaces which in a Klopp system are very key. And when everyone starts slightly moving over in the wrong way in transition, I think we've seen it in goals we've conceded where just little interplays in the middle, and then I think for the Rangers goal, like just like a little knockdown, and he's through and he scores, and you're just like fuck no,
and
it just keeps happening, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it looks, since the start of the season, it seems like there's loads of space in between our midfield and the back line, and between the center backs as well. Like we've seen, on Trent's right side, there's been loads of space as well between him and Matip, and we never really seen that before because Klopp's system have worked like before it worked like we never gave the opposition the time on the ball, and we covered and narrowed down the space really, really good. It was really hard to play. And when they were forced to play long balls, we just only used Van Dijk, just win the ball, and we go again. But now it seems like we had loads of space, in between there, and they have been able to play the ball into those little pockets and actually found, a through ball, and that's been really, really dangerous. But we need to go back to where we were before and actually close down and not giving back, away space like that, and just win the ball higher up on the pitch and don't let them play into the space, especially not Man City with De Bruyne and the kind of players they have in the midfield, and with Holland, being up there, being this big fucking Norwegian striker that scores, goals for fun. We just can't let them have that, because obviously if that happens, they will score a few.
Yeah, and I remain that the only defender that can stop Haaland doing what he does is Van Dijk, and I know Van Dijk isn't in tip-top form like we've said, but I just feel like Haaland's game is pace and power, and I think Van Dijk can match anyone, and I think Konate similarly. If Konate's fit, it's like we've got probably two of the best defenders in the world that can balance out what he can pose as a threat, like just pace, power, intelligence, just stuff like that, where he'll get into the right positions, and hopefully Konate's fit, so we've got two players that can shut him down whenever he's
physical players as well, like who can actually stand the ground and actually hold him off as well.
Exactly.
So
but it's a scary prospect because he's just scoring goals for fun. Obviously, he's in my fancy team as a captain. I didn't put him in at first as captain because I thought I'm gonna just see how he gets on. And then he scored like a hat-tricks and hat-tricks and hat-tricks. Like, I've got to put him in because I need to win my fancy league. To be fair, there's 250 quid on it. So
he's Norwegian. I wish he was Swedish, but we had Zlatan and they got now Holland. So there you go.
And you've got Isak. He's decent. Oh, you don't like him, do you, that much?
No, I don't mind him. I just think it's it's a little bit overhyped. He's good, but he's not that good. He wasn't worth the money that Newcastle paid for him. That's my opinion. But I might be wrong. He might prove me wrong with scoring loads of goals when he's playing again. But I don't think he's that great if you compare with there's kinds of Zlatan when he came out. When he came up as a youngster and the career he had. It's hard to have that career though. But it seems like sometimes we just look for the new Zlatan. It's just real difficult to be that kind of player.
Yeah, I think Isaac will do good against like Liverpool's and the Man Cities because they'll high lines. He's got pace to burn. I think the ball over the top. I think it's the teams that low blocks he'll struggle against because he's got no space to run into. But yeah, I was just going to get onto this. Ben, he says, "What are your guys' score predictions, Kristian? Yeah. What are you thinking, lad?"
I don't want to be the doomsday guy today, but I want to be optimistic because I really feel that we just need if we win against Man City, it's a statement as well, and we can actually bounce from it, because now obviously we won against Rangers, which is not the best team in the world, but if we actually beat Man City, they are one of the best team, if not the best team in the world. That would be a huge statement from us, to kind of go from there this season. So I just say 2-1 Liverpool. 2-1. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a nervous one, but we're going to come away with 2-1 and get the 3 points.
I'd go along with that. I think me heart says 2-1. My head's saying like 1-1 or 2-2. I think I said something similar for the Arsenal game. I felt like we might nick it, but I thought we'd draw. The fact that we've got beat by them that was a tough one to take. But if we do beat them, right, we can go in the league. We'll go 8th. We'll go 8th in the league, lad. So that's good, isn't it? We're getting closer to the top 4, and obviously we've got a game in hand as well. So this is the game in hand will it be Chelsea? Will it? I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know.
I think so.
We've got a game in hand anyway. I think it is Chelsea. So we can go 8th in the league, but then it's just taking points off the big boys. Obviously, I don't want to call Arsenal a big boy because I don't think they are. They're just in good form. They're a good team, but we didn't get the points against them. But hopefully we can. I think at Anfield, I think if you replay the Arsenal game the same way, I think we win at Anfield. If you change it from the Emirates to Anfield, I think we win that game. Is Arsenal Stadium called the Emirates, or is it just early in the morning? It is, isn't it?
Yeah, Emirates Stadium.
Yeah. I'm just thinking it's because I was getting confused with the Etihad for a minute. I was like, it's like 20 past 9. Yeah, so I'm like, I'm still after.
but we had great spells against Arsenal, so I agree with you. If we just swap it to Anfield and play that game, and we get a little bit better defensively, we win that game. And obviously with the referee, being shite as well, it's just the way it is. But if we played at Anfield and doing it that way and played better defensively, we win that game, no problems.
Yeah, Ben says top half, let's go. Oh my god! But yeah, I feel like tomorrow might be hopefully different because it's at home in front of the crowds. Hopefully bang up for it. Hopefully all the players are. I'm sure they will be, because I think we saw it in the Community Shield. That was a game that we all maybe expected it not to be as feisty as it was, but I feel like you could put Liverpool City in any game, a friendly, and it'd be like really closely contested, players going into tackles and stuff like that, because both teams want to win. I think it's more like a psychological thing, because when I went to that Pep Linda's book, I know it's obviously like fucking iconic now with the whole intensity thing and everything. All the intensity's drained out Liverpool after that. But he said like the training in pre-season was to get ready for the City game rather than get ready for the first Premier League game, which I thought was like quite interesting, because they wanted to be ready to make a statement against Man City. So hopefully tomorrow can be that again, and we can, fingers crossed, just put a good, like I said, just put a good performance in. You have a lot of fight in a lot of energy, just the stuff that we expect from Liverpool, and obviously in front of Anfield, it should be a better game, and I suppose more closely contested than it would be at their place. But yeah, I think let's go with 2-1 to the Reds. I think we both agreed on that. Let's hope that. Hopefully not concede the first goal. If we score the first goal, hopefully it might be a lot better. But we'll leave it there.
Yeah, I just want to see a lot of fight and willingness to run more than City players, and to just be on them more and actually show that we're at home at Anfield with the crowd behind them and all that kind of stuff. I just want to see the proper fight, not stupid fights, obviously, with stupid tackles that could result in a yellow or red card. But it's just a proper fight. Show them with tackles and intensity and all that energy that you're not going to come here and get 3 points or whatever you think. That's what I want to see, and if we do that, I think we will find a way to play good football as well, because that's in our DNA. So I think if we put a fight in and try to play our game, we have a really, really good chance to win, because we are at home and we are not a bad team, even though we have had a bad form. So let's go and do it and just go and win it.
Yeah, and Ben says, can see a red card tomorrow, to be fair. Let's hope it's for City and that gives us an edge. That would be absolutely lovely. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Just before we go, though, I just want to chat about this fella, because I thought it's a good time to give this a plug, because he was at Man City for in his youth days as well, and his dad played for them as well before he moved to Liverpool. But I had a chat with Neil Miller about the amazing Arsenal goal and the lovely cushion there for Gerrard and the Olympiacos, and getting Maldini's medal in Istanbul because he was injured, and Fernando Morientes had to get them all onto the pitch because none of the stewards didn't believe that they were Liverpool players. Just some hilarious stories, and talking about when he was drinking in his youth and when he was playing and stuff, and just funny stories that you wouldn't hear about. But that's on the channel if you want to go and have a watch, or if you're listening on audio, then you can listen to it as well. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Nice one, everyone, in the comments. Ben says, good stream. Cheers, fellas. Nice one, lad. Been loads of comments considering it was literally the earliest stream ever. I don't think we're ever going to beat this for a week, unless we do like a marathon stream one day for charity, like where it's like 6 a.m. to like 6 p.m. or something like that. But
when I'm coming over, I'm at your place, like before 8. We should start straight.
Imagine just stream 8 until 8, just on the beers, just getting progressively more pissed. Well, that'll be hilarious. But yeah, nice one everyone for the comments. Everyone that's watching live, if you're watching on repeat or later in the day, then yeah, do like and subscribe. It really does help us out. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple or Deezer or anything like that, or Google Podcast, then yeah, do leave us a rating, because that really help boost us up the charts, because it's nice to see us getting higher and higher in the Swedish charts, the Norwegian charts, the UK charts. And I keep saying to Kristian, we need to get higher in the Swedish charts, because I didn't realize, just me being stupid, that how massive Sweden is. So we need to get out there and just to the Swedes to get your headphones in and listen to us if they want. But yeah, it all helps. But nice one everyone, nice one again to Kristian, and yeah, up the Reds. Hopefully we do the business tomorrow. Nice one.